Hi all, welcome to my next Flosstube video. It's a bit more regular than my previous videos so far, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we can keep this to the 2 weekly plan that I had before. It is a little bit of a shorter video just because there's not been much going on over the past couple of weeks, but there has been a bit of stitching. So yeah, I'm going to get into June statistics as well, because I didn't cover those in my last one. I did my May ones, so we'll get into those as well, but to be honest, there's not really much that went on. So yeah, hope you enjoy the video. So as I say, I'll get into my June statistics. To be honest, I only worked on my Heaven and Earth stitch along in the entirety of June. I was just working it out earlier. I keep all of my stats on StitchPal, the app StitchPal on my phone. And I also have this book from Whip Warriors. Ignore the stains. And it gives you weekly, that's my Whip Go board. Gives you weekly little sections to put in what your stitch progress has been. And I did it on StitchPal. I always do that every time I stitch. I'll put it straight into there, and then I was catching up with putting it in my book. And every day that I've stitched has just been my stitch along, which was not my intention, but was my main focus. So I'm not disappointed that I did that, but my June statistics are going to be a bit boring. So I did 5,224 stitches altogether in June, which is really, really poor compared to some of my previous months, and definitely compared to some other people. There was when we went away to York, which I spoke about in my last video. I planned to actually get a bit done there, but I really didn't get very much done. The lighting wasn't great, and we ended up playing a lot of games with each other, so that was really nice experience. So I'm not too disappointed that I didn't get that done, but it did mean that it cut back quite a lot of the stitching that I did throughout the month, because we went for a long weekend. So that was 4 days that I'd normally spend doing a little bit of stitching, and I think I only stitched on one of the days there, so that cut back a bit. I can't remember what that brings my Heaven and Earth stitch along to in total, so we'll have to put the details up here. All the details on StitchPal are on my phone, so I don't have the full information for it. So we'll put that up here of like the full installments and the like the total overall which I've got in StitchPal. We did get the new installment at the end of June, the beginning of July. So that's 3 out of the 4 installments for the pattern now. The last installment, I'll be honest, I think it's going to be pretty boring because it's just this small thin strip of greens at the bottom. I think if I want to make sure that I get it done by the end of the year, I will have to have the 3rd instalment fully completed by the time the next instalment comes out. So is that October, maybe September, October time? So I think the last part of the year is going to be a bit of a slog to try and get the whole pattern finished. But we'll see what happens. It might be quite pleasant to go with. I think there is literally like 10 rows down and then the full length of it across. So we'll see what goes on with that, but fingers crossed it's not too boring. In regards to Whip Go, I did complete the 2 Whip Go numbers for June. It was number 21 and number 23, and one of them was to stitch away from home, which I did when I went to Yorkshire. Even though it was only a tiny little bit, I did stitch. And it was 1,000 stitches on free choice, which I chose my stitch along to get that back up to where it should be. So both of those were completed. This month the Whip Go numbers are number 2 and 16, and on my board that is 500 stitches on my moth project, which I've not touched for ages. It's not even included in my StitchPal app, so that's how long it's been, because I didn't have StitchPal when I started this project. I had Pattern Keeper, so luckily I've got all of the numbers up to date for that. But yeah, it's been it's been sitting for quite a while just because it's a dark brown. The colours that I was working on were dark brown, and it's on black fabric, which I'll show in a second. So it was a bit of a problem with that. I was just not enjoying doing that at the time. And then the other number is to buy a new pattern. Yes. So I haven't decided on which one I want to buy yet. There's a couple on Heaven and Earth that I'd like to buy, but I think I have enough of those to keep me going at the moment. If a sale happens, I might buy that one. There's the Hades and... Now, is it Persephone or Persephone? Or Persephone. I read an audiobook, well, listened to an audiobook, and she was saying Persephone. But everyone else I've known says Persephone. So whichever one it is, it's that woman's name. I've not said it since because I never know which one's correct. So I don't know. But I was debating buying that one. And then there are a couple more patterns that I'm debating that aren't full coverage. So I might do a little Instagram poll to see which ones people think I should buy next. So I love doing that. It's a little bit of fun. I'd love to buy all of them. So whichever one anyone picks, I'm always happy with. So I don't really mind that. So I'll get into showing the actual progress I've made of the 2 whole patterns I have stitched on in the past 2 weeks. So this is where my Hade stitch along has come. I've got a bit of a loose thread, and normally I don't do that, but when I was stitching I had to leave and I didn't want to cut it off because there was plenty more thread left. So I was working all down here. I want to make sure that I get this section finished so I can move my Q-snap over a little bit so I can start working over here, because it does continue quite a bit over here. I think there's like another full page at least over this side. So I want to start working over here. But I just wanted to make sure that this part gets finished and then I can move it over. So even if I only move it over to there, which obviously means I'll need to get these stitches done as well. Even if I can only move it over to here, just so I can get some more done over this side. So as you can see, the bottom bit, so we've just had the 3rd instalment, which comes down further than this, and then that's the complete bottom bit. So yeah, I'd like to get some more done here, and then I can move it over. This Q-snap, it's a bit naff, to be honest. It was a cheap one from Amazon, but the fabric keeps getting loose in it. These are really easy to move. I don't like them when they're really stiff. My Dragon project is on one that I really struggle to move, but it means it keeps the fabric taut, whereas this one, almost every time I stitch on it, there's been a couple of times recently where I've been stitching in hand, and because of where I've been holding it, it's meant that it's pushed out some of the fabric, and it's not stretched the fabric, it's just pushed it out from the Q-snap. So I've realised how much I absolutely love my Lowry stand to actually stitch on, because it means that that doesn't happen. It never pulls out because I'm never holding the actual frame itself. I always just depend on my Lowry stand, and it works really well. So I absolutely love that. It's a very good wish list purchase. My dad bought it me for Christmas, so I'm really glad that I actually asked for that, because it's really useful. I love using it. But yes, so that was 5,224 stitches completed on this in June. Now onto my moth project. I'll put a picture up of it here. I bought this quite a while ago, as I say, and it was the first and only piece that I've ever gridded, because I don't know if you can get gridded fabric, but all I used on this was some cheap normal floss. And when I started stitching on it, I realised how much of a nightmare it was. It took me ages to grid this out anyway. I think I was sat there for about 3 hours just gridding this out. You can see it's just like normal thread that I've used, which does cause a problem because when I am stitching on it, obviously the floss is made up of individual fibres, so it means that sometimes some of the stitches have got caught in between the fibres of the gridded floss, which has caused a nightmare in terms of trying to get some of it out. So what I've been trying to do is when I'm getting close to the grid, just pull it out now. Someone did, I put this on Facebook quite a while ago about the issue, and somebody did suggest to get the sulky sliver thread, which I have bought since, and I haven't needed to actually grid anything else up, but I'll be definitely using it in future. I bought the red because I thought it'd be a good colour to see on both black and white if I needed it, so I did buy the red. And I think it'll be a lot better because it's not the, if you're not aware of it, it's not normal thread, it's like more of a plasticky type of texture one, and it's a bit flatter, so you're not likely to stab your needle through it or anything. But altogether on this project I've completed 2,661 stitches, and this month in July, because it was the whip go for this month, I've done 409 stitches so far, and the target for whip go is 500. I was completing all down here in the wing. This is what I was saying about, it's like really dark browns on black fabric. It was just a bit difficult to actually complete, so I'm doing those. I've still got to complete some in this wing, and I did do these orange parts as well on both sides. As you can see, there was no real rhyme or reason to my stitching elsewhere. All these parts were done beforehand. That was all the stuff that I've done, and I've only done the browns and the orange this month. So I'm close to getting finished. If I can focus on this, to be honest, I'm 61% of the way through. There's 4,394 stitches in total. So hopefully, if I might just carry on with this and might have it as one of my main pieces, because to be honest, since I've picked it back up, since I've had my Lowry and my better light, it's been so much easier to actually do the dark browns. Before I didn't have a very good light for it, so I think that was one of the main reasons I was struggling, whereas now I've got my better light, well, I've got an actual light to help me. I think I'll get it done a lot easier. The reason I gridded it up was because there's a lot of these sections where there's like little starry bits that are away from the main moth. If it was just the moth, then I'd have just been able to do it no problem. I wouldn't have needed the grid. But because of these bits, I'm not very good at counting away from the main section. I usually get quite confused. I end up missing stitches counting away. So that's why I wanted to grid the fabric. But like I say, when I get to parts that don't need to be gridded, I'm pulling those out before I even put any stitches over them now, because I've tried to pull some of them out before. It's caused a lot of problem. So I am actually looking forward to getting this completed. I think this will be a really nice finish. So in terms of stitching, that's actually everything I've done for the past couple of weeks, and in June. There's one thing that I want to discuss just lifestyle wise, and that is my Race for Life. I spoke about it a couple of weeks ago, when I messed up my ankle, and I was supposed to carry on the training after that, but obviously that put me back a couple of weeks. But I actually completed it yesterday. This filmed on the Monday, so I'm not sure whether this is going up on Monday or Tuesday, but I got my little medal for completing the Race for Life. I was really proud. I was planning to jog a little and walk a little. When I went back to the gym, I thought I'd be able to jog a little while and then just keep on with the intervals. I was planning on doing 90 seconds of running and 2 minutes of walking. When I'm at the gym, I can usually do that for around half an hour, 20 minutes to half an hour. So I thought, even though it's a bit different because it's out in the wild, and it's more, obviously I'm not on a controlled treadmill, so I can't control my speed as easy. I thought I'd still be able to do that. But I decided to drop that when I saw that it was a lot of up and down hills and on grass. So I thought, right, I'll just try to jog downhill, walk uphill, see how that goes. That went out the window when I was jogging downhill and still got completely out of puff. So halfway round, they split you up into sections. So you got the runners, they go first, and then the joggers / walkers, they go next, and then just pure walkers, they go after. And I was jogging along, and then I was just like, no, I've got to just stop and walk. And just people that I saw were walkers that were way behind me, they started overtaking me, and I just thought, this is so embarrassing. There were some people that were easily, and this is no offence to anyone of any age, but there were some people that were like 70 odd. You could see that they were quite old, and they were just zooming past me, and I was just like, this is so embarrassing. Just a 28-year-old shouldn't be struggling to jog or walk 5k. It was just so embarrassing. It has motivated me to carry on going to the gym, of course. I did, like I say, I did start back up after my ankle felt okay. But I got there, and my plan was to complete it quicker than I did in my previous one. I did one quite a few years ago. It's probably 7 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that. It was a long time ago. My plan was to, when I first signed up for it, when I rejoined the gym, my plan was to get it done quicker than that, and that I'd finish that bang on an hour. As I was going round, I was looking on my phone every now and then to see how I was. It was quite embarrassing because when I was doing the first like jog section and walk, I was like, right, it's been about 20 minutes. I should have done about 2k now. That sounds about right from my like tracking on the treadmill. Carried on walking for a bit longer, probably about 10 minutes longer, and then I saw there was a 2k sign where they like measured it out and they give you updates as to where you are, and I just thought, this is going to be a long one. So after that they give you, like, I don't know if I just missed the 1k sign or if they just started at 2, but there was one for every last one. I wanted Josh to get a video of me crossing the line. And I text him. They give you there's a little sign to say 500 meters to go, and that's just a straight back to the start line. And I thought, right, I'm gonna jog the rest of the way. I text him to say I was here so he could get the phone ready and like get the video of me finishing. And as I crossed, I was like running across the finish line, and I was absolutely shattered. And then he came to me and he was just like, I'm so sorry. And I was just like, what's wrong? And he went, I had my phone ready to record. I looked at it and the screen had gone blank. So when I set it all back up for you to go across the line, he went, oh, I got it all ready. I was holding it up. And then when I clicked to stop the recording, it just took a photo. He hadn't had it on the video at all. He has sent me a photo of what he sent me after I finished, when he messed up by mistake. I've got my nice photos, so we'll insert those. I've got the one before and the one after. You can tell the one after's a little bit red and out of puff. But there's the one that he took and he said I don't look very happy on the photo, the one that he messed up on. At this point I didn't know that he'd messed up, so I wasn't angry at him. I'm not angry at him now. It was just an honest mistake. It made me laugh. But yeah, it was quite funny when he told me that. I was thinking, you had one job to do, just film me across the finish line, and you messed up. But it really didn't bother me. But I haven't seen that photo yet, so when you see this, the first time I'll have seen it was when I've been editing this video. So I'm inserting no matter what now. I've said it in this, so I don't care how upset I look or how stupid I look on this. That picture's going into it. Um, I managed to finish it pretty much bang on an hour. I think I was 1 or 2 minutes shy of the hour, so I didn't beat my previous time, or beat it by like a minute, um, a minute or two, because I finished bang on the hour last time. They didn't have a sign up to say how long it had been. Last time they told you how long it had been. That's how I know that it was dot on the hour. They didn't have that this time, so I kind of had to go by what my phone said when I started and when I finished, really. So it wasn't the record that I wanted it to be, but it does just give me a bit of motivation for next year. I managed to raise, and I was absolutely shocked by this, I managed to raise £180 through sponsors and like through donations. By the time I actually went to the race, I got £130, which I was amazed at anyway. I was expecting, when I first did it, I didn't even hit the £50 target that I wanted to, and this year I was struggling as well. But I sent an email to some people at work, and the donations from people at work was absolutely amazing. And when I put my Facebook post up yesterday to say that I'd completed my race, everyone was saying like how proud they were, how amazing it was. And one of the people said, "Oh, what's the link for it?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll put it in the comments in case anyone else wants to donate." And I made another £60 up just through donations from that. And it really made me kind of not upset but overwhelmed, because it, even though it's going to the charity, it feel like they were sponsoring me, kind of thing. It was like specifically me, so it felt really, really nice that they were encouraging me and believing in me to be able to finish the race. It felt really good. When we first went, it was absolutely hammering it down, and I said to Josh, I went, the only reason I'm running this race today is because of the people that have sponsored me. Because if nothing had come through, if it was only me and Josh that had put in the money for it, I wouldn't have done it, because it's just like, I'm happy for the money to have gone to the charity anyway, which I'm sure would have been the same for everyone else, but they're kind of sponsoring me to complete this for the charity. Because it was really, it wasn't just a slight shower. When we were driving there, the windscreen wipers couldn't go quick enough to get the rain off. We were struggling to see. It was really bad. But by the time we actually started the race, it knocked off, and it was actually perfect conditions. It was slightly cloudy. It wasn't too hot. Every now and then there was a bit of rain, like the tiniest bit, which was nice to cool you down. So it worked out pretty well in the end. So I'm really proud of that. I'm really happy with what I've done, especially with my ankle still not being up to what it needs to be, really. I still need to try and strengthen that a bit more, and I need to make sure that I put my insoles that the foot doctor gave to me, because my other foot was in agony afterwards. So I think I need to do my exercises for that. But yeah, that's enough rambling on from me. I think I've said enough about the Race for Life, and I've not got much else about the stitching. So that's everything I've really got to talk to you about today. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed. I know it's been a bit of a short one in terms of stitching, and a long one in terms of talking about other things. So thank you for sticking around. If you could like and subscribe, it'd be amazing. If you've got anything you want to comment, please leave it below, and I will reply to you. And I will see you. I will see you in a couple of weeks. Happy stitching. Bye.